You're watching or listening to the Taylor's newsletter, The Obvious Choice, for Thursday, the 25th of July, read by me, Stephen Lewis. You can get your copy directly to your inbox by going to taylist.agency/newsletter. All links are in the show notes. Who gets paid more? Who gets paid more, you or your wife? This was an actual question out of the mouth of an actual investment banking bozo. Bozo and I had been introduced at a bar after work. Pretty quickly, Bozo shouted over the noise from his tie, "What do you do?" I replied that I was an internal communications manager. Call it the curse of knowledge, but I assumed the job title would be familiar to a master of the universe at a company employing hundreds of internal comms managers around the world. It wasn't. Fair enough. So I explained that an internal communication manager's job is to communicate within an organization what employees need to know. Bozo, not getting it, asked for an example of something that might be communicated internally. Then he asked for another one. Still no good. Bozo could not see the value of this internal communicating malarkey, and being a generous man, he wasn't going to withhold the gift of his thoughts. And perhaps employing people to send out information is indeed worthless to someone who gets all the information he can handle by waving his big swinging antenna about. After all, as we learnt from the global financial crisis, they don't let just anyone work in an investment bank. These guys are whip smart. As I say, Bozo was not ungenerous. He was prepared to give me a final chance to justify my then professional existence, and I suspect my worth as a man. This was when he asked me who earned more, Fleur or me. Bear in mind that Bozo had never met Fleur. He didn't know where she was employed, how long she'd been employed there, or what she was employed to do. This master of the markets was asking the price of tennis balls in Singapore in order that he could bid on wheat futures in Venezuela. All just part of the reason Australia's Royal Commission into Financial Services didn't come as a big surprise to me. This morning, I read a perspective on how the result of this exchange with Bozo was my fault. That perspective came from Your Next 5 Moves, which is a book on strategy that I'm reading with the book club in The Obvious Choice. The author argues that it's not productive to blame other people when things go wrong. The smarter thinker asks what they should have done differently for a better result. In this case, I give myself a pass because I didn't want to be an internal communications manager, so I never bothered to come up with a good answer to the question of what do you do? If someone asked, I gave them my job title, just as I did with Bozo. But answering what do you do by reading out your email signature significantly decreases the odds of new business. Nonetheless, so many people think they've spiked the landing when they reply executive coach or lawyer or copywriter. And then they wonder why signing up ideal clients is as hard as catching fish with a balloon. So I'll own it. If my ideal job had been internal communications in financial services, and this guy at the bar might have been a potential client, I flubbed the whole interaction by giving him my job title. If internal comms were my calling and this guy were a client I wanted, I'd have been sure I knew his problems, the ones that good internal communications could solve, how to prove to him that I could solve those problems, how to express these things succinctly in a way that I was comfortable saying out loud. So not, I'm the leading internal communications manager in all the land, or I'm on a journey to help 1,000 employees know what they need to know. You might not be unlucky enough to meet Bozo, but you're definitely going to meet clients who just need an excuse to ask, who charges more, you or the other guy? That's why you need to see the question, what do you do, as really asking, why you? Then all you need is the killer answer that I'll show you how to craft in the 90-minute online masterclass, Yes You, how to convince and convert high-value clients with magnetic messaging. If you're sick of blank looks and low conversion rates, lock in your place at the masterclass so you'll always know how to answer the value question confidently and authentically. That way, you'll never again end up haggling about price or justifying yourself. Stephen. P.S. Yes, you is just $97. How many more clients would you need to get over the line for this to be the best investment you ever made? Or how many times fewer would you need to justify your fees before $97 was the best investment you ever made? Book using the link in the show notes. That was the obvious choice, Taylor's newsletter for Thursday, the 25th of July, read by me, Stephen Lewis. You can get your own copy of the newsletter hot to your inbox from taylist.agency/newsletter. All links in the show notes.